Bien, bien. Estamos aquí en la radio Living in the Ring. Y soy yo, David, y también Gabo Montoya. ¿Cómo está todo?
Todo bien, gracias a Dios.
Ahora, nosotros vamos a hablar en inglés y Z va a hablar en español, ¿ok?
Okay.
You're down in Mexico City. I know you've been setting up for a while. What's it like working with Nacho and adjusting to his system?
Pues todo muy bien, gracias a Dios. Creo que hasta ahorita llevamos muy buena relación, tanto en el trabajo como personas.
Everything is going very well. I think so far we have a very good relationship, not only in terms of work, but also personally.
What has been, when I was down there, he had talked about he wanted to help add more defense to your game. Is he not really working on the offense? Because your combinations are good and much tighter, I think, than Kirkland's. Is it the defense that you guys are focusing on?
Sí, estamos trabajando ahorita en la defensa contra un peleador pues zurdo y trabajando las manos que normalmente se deben de usar para un peleador zurdo, así que hay mucha diferencia, como está entrenando Marquez contra Pacquiao y yo contra Kirkland, los dos son peleadores zurdos, así que yo creo que Nacho está muy enfocado ahorita con la técnica hacia un peleador zurdo.
Yeah, we have been working on defense, especially against southpaw, and working on the hands and how the hands normally go when you are facing a southpaw. So that's the difference, and there's been a lot of emphasis on that, especially because Juan Manuel Marquez is fighting Pacquiao, and I'm fighting Kirkland, and both are subs, both are lefties. So Nacho has been very focused on the technique to fight as southpaw.
You know, you and Kirkland, it's not a hidden secret. You guys have sparred against each other. You guys are familiar with each other, and I think it's fair to say that you kind of understand what you're up against here. What is your assessment now? I mean, to you, is this a new fight, or is this just a fight that you've been involved in already, but now that's going to be put in front of the cameras?
No, es una pelea nueva para mí. Hemos peleado Kirkland y yo en muchas funciones juntos, porque teníamos el mismo promotor en años atrás, así que yo conozco el estilo de Kirkland y Kirkland conoce mi estilo. Los dos somos peleadores de shock, así que creo yo que esa noche la gente va a tener un buen espectáculo de boxeo.
No, it's a new fight for me. It is true that both Kirkland and I have fought together in same cards because we had the same promoters a long time ago. But so in that sense, yes, I know Kirkland's style. Kirkland knows my style. Both of us are fighters that like to give a show, to put on a show, so people will receive a very good show that night.
The fight originally in Mexico for this scheduled bout here in November was supposed to be against Vance Martirosyan. That fell apart. Now it's Kirkland. Were you a little surprised that Golden Boy was so fast and so easy in putting Kirkland in with you?
No me sorprende, porque una de mis principales cosas que me llevaron a firmar con Golden Boy es por el gran desempeño que tienen en su trabajo. Al contrario, estoy muy contento porque no se tardaron mucho en resolver el problema de que Vanes no quiso pelear.
No, it doesn't surprise me, because one of the main reasons for me to sign with Golden Boy is their track record of good performance in everything they do, and so I was very happy that they didn't take long to solve the problem once the fight with Vanes didn't work out.
Nacho had said that you guys had known each other for about 10 years. And when I was in Mexicali, it seemed like you were on the fence about whether or not you wanted to go to Mexico City and train. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Nacho and what made you go to Mexico City to train with him?
Pues, como Nacho lo dijo, Nacho es un gran amigo ya de años. Tengo muchos años conociéndolo. Es un entrenador que tiene pues mucha calidad, por algo está en el Salón de la Fama y tiene en su haber muchos campeones del mundo. Yo no tengo ningún inconveniente en venir a la Ciudad de México a entrenar, porque es como mi segunda casa. Yo estuve 4 años aquí en el equipo olímpico para ir a las Olimpiadas, así que yo no tengo ningún problema, ningún inconveniente en entrenar aquí en el DF.
Just like Nacho said, Nacho is a great friend of mine from many years. We've known each other for many years. He is a trainer of very high quality. Not for anything, he's in the Hall of Fame and has as many champions, world champions, as he has. There was no inconvenience at all for me to move to Mexico City to train. I have lived in Mexico City for 4 years when I was, on the Olympic team. So there was absolutely no inconvenience, no problem for me to go to Mexico City.
Now, you've got, Juan Manuel Marquez training there. Are there any things that you've picked up from him? Any sort of training techniques? I know he has some unusual habits during his training. Is there anything that you're adopting there, or are you just watching him from a technical standpoint?
Pues no, Márquez entrena a una hora diferente a la que yo entreno. Yo entreno más temprano, él entrena un poco más tarde que yo. Me he quedado a ver en ocasión alguna de su sesión de Sparring y no he adquirido nada de por el lado de Márquez en lo que se refiere a sus cosas inusuales, como ustedes le llaman. Yo tengo mi preparador físico que él hace un gran trabajo conmigo. Daryl Hudson, él es el encargado de que yo llegue en óptimas condiciones y ver las sesiones de sparring que hace con peleadores zurdos, a ver qué se nos puede pegar a nosotros de la calidad de Márquez.
He says Juan Manuel Marquez trains at a different hour than he trains. He normally trains a little bit earlier. Juan Manuel Marquez trains a little bit later. No, all he has done is stay sometimes to watch Marquez's sparring sessions, but he hasn't acquired anything from Marquez in what, in terms of his unusual things, like you like to call them.
That's what I'm talking about.
He says he knows. He says he has his strengthening conditioner, which is Daryl Hudson, who does a great job with him and is the one in charge of having him in optimal conditions. So other than watching him spar southpaws to see whether he can get something from what Juan Manuel Marquez does sparring southpaws, that's it. That's all.
So it's fair to say that he's not joining Juan Marquez for his tea time then, right?
O sea que es bastante seguro decir que no te has unido a Juan Manuel Márquez en su hora de té. Por ponerlo así.
No estás con él ahorita, no vas con él en los cantines para tomar la coronas con él, right? Con él.
You're laughing too much. You're funny.
Pedro, let me ask you this. We have spoken to Kirkland, and he had talked a little bit about the sparring, and he said that, he had felt that he had gotten the better of him, and it was very short-lived. They stopped it, and then they kind of pulled you away because I guess he believed, and they believed that your team didn't want any more of what he was bringing in the ring. So they stopped it right there. Tell us a little bit, if you can remember, what happened during their sparring. What did he get from Kirkland, and what did he learn from him?
Para empezar, no sé quién dijo eso, pero eso es una mentira.
Oh, sí.
Porque yo hice un round de sparring con James Kirkland cuando fue James y yo fuimos a ayudarle a Sergio Mora. Le fuimos a ayudar a Sergio Mora, que iba a tener una pelea, y ese día que yo fui, Sergio no iba a boxear. No iba a boxear y Kirkland iba a pelear y me dijeron que si le hacía el favor de boxear un round con ellos porque no tenía con quién boxear. Yo les dije que sí, que no tenía ningún problema. Boxeamos un round y fue todo, nada más un round. Yo me bajé y dicen que mi equipo pues no había nadie, nada más era yo solo, así que ¿cuál equipo es el que supuestamente dijo que me bajara? Habíamos quedado que íbamos a boxear nada más un round. Se acabó el round, me bajé y se me volteó. Después yo conversé con Sergio Mora y Mora me dijo que James Kirkland le había dicho que nunca en su carrera le habían pegado un buen salido como que yo le había pegado a James Kirkland. Esa es la real verdad de las cosas.
He says, no, first of all, that's a lie. I only sparred one round with James, and that was when James and I went to help Sergio Mora in one of his fights. That day that I went there, Sergio Mora was not going to spar, but Kirkland was going to fight, and so they asked him whether he would make the favor to them to spar with Kirkland, and he said yes, so they boxed. It was only one round, that was all. He said his team was not there. I mean, Angulo's team was not there. Angulo was alone. And the agreement was that it was going to be one round, so he went there, boxed one round, and when the round was over, he got out of there. But then later on, he worked with Sergio Mora, and Sergio Mora told him that Kirkland said that nobody had ever punched him as hard as Angulo had that day. So that's the truth of it.
I'm curious, because you're working with Berestein, is James Kirkland training for the wrong Angulo? Are you going to be that different in this fight?
Pues quién sabe, esa pregunta se la tienen que hacer a Kirkland, no a mí.
It's just like, who knows? That's a question that you have to ask Kirkland, not him.
Is everything that Nacho teaches you going to go out the window once those punches fly? Do you expect it to be an electric fight, or do you want it to be a more controlled fight?
Pues yo creo que la cabeza arriba del ring. Todo depende de mi oponente, cómo va a ser la pelea. Si James sale como siempre, como normalmente sale a tirar golpes a lo loco nada más, pues yo creo que se debe usar un poquito más la inteligencia y usar las cosas que Nacho nos ha enseñado hasta ahorita. Así que yo creo que no hay ningún problema. Todo depende de James Kirkland, cómo salga a pelear, porque pues recordemos que ya peleé con un peleador también que se esperaba que la pelea fuera de choque contra Joel Julio, y Joel Julio pues nunca se paró, salió a boxear. Todo depende, digo, del oponente, si sale a tirar golpes o sale a correr. Eso ya depende de James Kirkland, no de mí.
He says, just like you said, the fight is inside the ring. It all depends on the opponent and how the opponent goes about the fight. If Kirkland goes out there as he normally does to throw like punches randomly all over, then he will use more the intelligence and the things that Nacho has taught him. He has no problem. There will be no problem. It all depends on Kirkland. He said that he has been already in a fight before against Joel Julio that was expected to be a brawl, and Joel Julio never stopped. He went there to box. So it really depends on what the opponent does, whether he goes to throw punches or whether he goes to run. That's all up to James.